Branding matters in music because you need to have your own personal story that you want to tell as an artist. You have to be able to paint the picture for people who can relate to your personal story because you are almost the voice for those people. So, in order to connect with those people, how do they know who you are? How do they know that they can connect with your story? How do they know that they can relate to your story? You have to communicate that in everything you do. And over time, that communication becomes your brand because people start to see and recognize certain things that you do or say or your image that communicates to them. And you, in a way, you kind of speak that language. So your brand is like the language you speak, and the people that speak that language, those are your audience. Those are the people that you're speaking to. So branding is all about making sure that you're communicating with that audience, the people who you make music for. And if you make music for yourself, then that just makes you a hobbyist. Then that just means you just do it for enjoyment. But if you want to be an independent artist and make it a career, then you need to understand that you're not just making music for yourself, you're making music for an audience. And in order to find that audience, you have to know how to communicate with that audience. And you communicate with that audience with marketing, and you build a brand through sustained marketing and communication and messaging over time. And you build a reputation over time. So that's why branding is important in music. So, like I said, the main difference between an independent artist and a hobbyist is an independent artist is in it for not just the enjoyment of music, but also to create a career or income and be able to make music for a living and do what they love and get paid to do it. If it's a hobby for you, might want to be someone who just like wants to work a job, work a 9 to 5, or do some other type of business and just make music for fun on the side. But the purpose of this course is for independent artists who want to establish a career and put out a project that will be profitable and that will make them money. So you have to think in terms of how to be successful in that way. So once you think in terms of an independent artist and not just a hobbyist, that's when you start thinking in terms of business. And when you get into the music business, it's way more business than talent. So that's why this part is so important. Like being in the studio is the fun part, but this is the important part. If you're serious about being an independent artist and establishing a career, you have to understand the business side. And today, that's kind of what we're talking about, is just kind of shifting your mind from thinking of it as a hobby to thinking of it as a business. Your audience is always going to connect to your identity, and they're always going to want to know more about who you are as a person. So your identity is what speaks first before they even hear your music. So that's why it's important to understand who you are as an artist before you even put out music, because that's where you need to, that's the where your mind needs to be when you're making music. Your mind needs to be in that place of talking to these people that is your audience. So you're serving these people when you're creating the music, you're making music, and not just in the music, but in everything that you're doing, you're keeping these people in mind, because that's how you put yourself into a situation where you're building your audience and people are really connecting with you and who you are. So you need to know who you are first. That way you know how to put that out there so people who connect with who you are can find you. All right. So key teaching points. Remember, your image communicates your message. So that's in everything that you do, the way you dress, the colors, the places that you're seeing, the way you move. So basically, keep that in mind, because it's not just your music, it's in everything that you do on a daily basis. It communicates your message. So it has to coincide with the music you make, and it has to come before the music you make. Your identity has to come before the music. You have to be secure in your identity of who you are as a person, and then let the music come from that. And that's how you'll be genuine and you'll have people connect with you who are in the same mind frame, mind state, the same frequency, or basically they can see themselves in your shoes, or they can relate to the things you're saying because you took time to find out who you are. And even if who you are is someone that people aspire to be, that still inspires them to follow you and listen to your music. So the main thing I want you to do is to define your sound, define your image, define your audience, and define your story. Your brand should be recognizable instantly. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some examples of how major artists create clear visual identities.
Fans know your sound, but that's only half the story. You've got to show them what you're all about, too. That's why we need to talk about branding. Madeline from Spotify is going to take it from here. Madeline?
Oh my God, this is hard for me. I think if you're an artist, brand can sometimes sound like a dirty word, but it's a really important way of expressing yourself to the world, and it can help new fans and listeners connect with your art.
Here's Amici, the longtime co-manager for Run the Jewels.
People listen with their eyes as much as their ears, and you need to find ways to connect with them beyond just the music.
So how do you start? 2 words: visual identity. Your socials, website, live shows, album art, merch, it's all part of the conversation, and it's got to be consistent.
There are legendary classic artists that have used visual identity in a way that sets them apart and makes them legendary.
That's X from Spotify, expressing himself visually.
There's t-shirts sold all over the world with Pink Floyd logos, and there are kids wearing them who maybe have not even ever heard the band, but recognize and affiliate themselves with that visual identity.
Nice. So how do you connect on that level?
In this game, authenticity is key. You want to take your fans on a journey and tell a story that is consistent enough that people can attach to something, but also broad enough that you can evolve and shapeshift and morph over time.
Sweet. But what about creating the right look for your sound?
So one way you could do it is you start with a color, and then from there you think about logo, font choice, fashion, so that everything has a place in that visual story.
You should be able to find inspiration in just about anything. It could be movies, it could be walking down the street, it could be looking up at the sky.
Food, friends, fans, family, animals, dogs, cats.
Interior design, restaurants.
New experiences.
Plates. Ceramics.
Wow, now that's finding inspiration on another level, Soul Cathedral.
It's not about what's out there, it's about what's in here. Where's your curiosity? Where's your inquisitivity, right?
But don't feel like you have to roll solo on this. You have a vision, and you should stack your team with people who believe in that vision too.
If you're an artist with a label, they may set you up with a creative director who'll get your overall vision together for any shoots that you do.
Singer-songwriter Olivia O'Brien's label
That was crazy.
connected her with a creative director who gets her.
A lot of the times I'll come up with the ideas, but I won't know how to make it happen and how to make it look cool. So she kind of helps me do that. And then she'll also present new ideas to kind of elevate the concept of what I'm doing visually.
And if you're an independent artist, tap into the creative community around you. The graphic designer, the stylist, the up-and-coming video director. All these people can help bring your vision to life.
The right people can give you a boost, and the right tools can too.
If you're an artist on Spotify, you have an artist page, which is where your fans can go and figure out what you're all about.
You've also got Canvas, a tool that lets you add visual expression to your sound.
Canvas is amazing. It really brings album artwork to life. Through looping visuals, you can change up and build out your story.
One of our favorite canvases that we've done is for our song Go and Get It. When we shot the music video, we also shot a canvas. It's a hustle anthem. It's a song about hustling and getting that money. So it's a canvas where we're all doing like this. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No matter where you are in your career, a strong visual story is key. It could be the difference between someone moving on or following you and becoming a fan for life. And remember, you're the only one who can do you like you. So go on and get your story out there. See ya.
Okay, so that's it for week 1, and we're gonna wrap this up. And I just need you to make sure you get your assignment completed. Make sure you submit everything on week 1. Identify your target audience, write your brand positioning statement, and complete your photo shoot. And if you need assistance with any of that, we do have the Fair Gates coming up that you can participate in. So make sure you sign up for one of those, because we'll be helping you with everything you need on the assignments. And also just tune into the live stream, and we'll be able to, do more group discussions and talk more about this topic before we go into week 2. So till then, I'll catch up with you.